The building so original, got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you all are having a fantastic, wonderful, positive, jubilant Friday. I think we all deserve it. You know what I mean? It's been one hell of a week, y'all. Woo! It's been one hell of a week, no doubt. But I hope you guys are all having a positive one because we all deserve it, right? And here it is. One last work day until you go into the weekend, y'all. Okay, so then you can turn up for the freaking weekend. And that's a good thing. As long as you do it responsibly, as long as you do it right, okay. Party. And as the Travis Scott fans would say, rage responsibly. All right. Just don't be dumb. Okay. Make smart choices out here, everybody. Okay. But anyway, for those of y'all who don't know what's going on, you read the title down below. It is some serious ish going on, y'all. It is some serious ish going on. $2 billion. $2 billion. Count it. I mean, don't count it because it'll take you forever to count $2 billion. Okay, $2 billion in a lawsuit. We're going to be jumping into the conversation here very, very soon. But like I said, $2 billion. Holy God. Holy God. Things are not looking good for Travis Scott and any person that was involved with the AstroWorld Festival. The AstroWorld tragedy. Just saying. This is all bad. Okay? All bad. But I digress. Let me just take care of something real quick. Okay, good. We are Gucci as far as I know. Okay. So, for those of y'all who are watching this show for the very first time, please do me the favor. Do me that small favor. Hit that like button down below. I see you guys starting to pile in. This is breaking news right now as we speak. You're getting this hot and fresh out the kitchen. It's been out the oven for a few hours. I'll be honest. I mean, you know, it last night. Okay. But still, no matter what, it is breaking as of this morning. So do me the favor, hit that like button down below. Send those likes all the way up. All right. And of course, for those of y'all who are watching the show for the very first time, hello, good morning. Welcome to the Pascal Show. We got a lot to talk about, y'all. So please nuke that subscribe button. It'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. Anyway, I see everybody starting to file in, starting to say their good mornings and all that stuff. I mean, it's very, very interesting. And we got a lot to talk about. Like I said, the title down below is what we are talking about right here and now. And we're going to get into that story real quick. But before we do that, my sister is in the house. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Just talking like birdshot. I'm just everywhere. Glad to have you back on the show.
Glad to be back.
Happy Friday. How you living, sweetheart?
Pretty good. I'm doing very well, living pretty good. So no complaints. How
Good.
About yourself?
Man, I'm living. You know, I got a dog in heat. So it's a lot of annoying dogs whimpering in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day because they're trying to get their hump on. You know what I mean? They're trying to, you know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is that one of my dogs' name is Juliet, right? And the other one is named Romeo, right? It's the mom and dad, okay? And we have to separate Romeo and Juliet. It's a tale of two star-crossed lovers. You know what I mean? So I feel like we're doing the dog version of a Shakespearean play. And he's the one just said, like the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, it's not a lot of fun. I'm not even gonna say. I'm not even gonna be sarcastic about this ish. I got better things to do than lie today. So, but it looks like Caribbean Kool-Aid just said, "Those are my dog's names too." That's what's up. See, I thought I was corny. Well, see, here's the thing. Real quick story, and then we'll get into this. We'll get into the story. All right, and a lot of people know about the story of my dogs, or the OGs of this show. Shout out to the OGs and to the mods. Let me just be real. Y'all been day ones, A1s from day one. Real talk. So, real quick, real quick. Dog, right? And that dog was already named Romeo, right? So we have the dog. He's a little bundle of pain. Not a bundle of joy. But he's a big bundle of pain. No, he's a bundle of joy. But it's kind of like, hey, he should have a companion. It'd be nice to have somebody, somebody to love. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't neutered. So we're just like, okay, because we rescued this dog, right? So I'm like, all right, bet, let's do this. Let's get another dog. So we got another dog, right? Beautiful. She's my baby. Okay? And so it doesn't make sense to call the dog Susan. You know what I'm saying? Or like Matilda. You feel me? Roxy. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. It's Romeo and Juliet. It just doesn't make it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work to just do Romeo and them, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not right. It's kind of like, all right, it just flows. It just rolls off the tongue. So I'm like, all right, Romeo and Juliet, done, right? So now we let them breed one time, right? And then we made a whole bunch of puppies. And like a dumbass, I kept two of them. I'm an idiot. That was the worst mistake in my life. No, I'm playing. I love them, but they're named after other Shakespearean names as well, characters in Shakespeare plays. Because I was just kind of like, it doesn't make sense to be like Romeo and Juliet and them, right? Susan and Matilda. You know what I mean? So we had to go and stick with the Shakespearean theme. Yes, we're nerds. I don't care. Okay, I'm fully proud of being a nerd. All right, but it just didn't make sense to be like Romeo and Juliet, Spike and Killer. You know what I'm saying? Bruce and Killer. It just didn't make sense. So I'm just like, all right, fine. Let's just keep it. You know what I'm saying? Because we were going to go. Oh, that's the other thing. But Debbie just said 4 dogs. LOL. Here's the thing. I actually, it's funny because Debbie's been gone for a minute, and I think during that minute, that's when we had puppies, and then all that. But we had 4 puppies. We gave away 2, and the funny thing is we really got attached to the other 2. So we're just like, all right, fine. It doesn't make sense to just have F it. Let's just keep 2. So we did. I'm never doing that again. If I come back in another life, never having 4 dogs, ever. Okay. Ever. All right. So, Caesar and Cleo is a good name. I didn't think of that. Caesar and Cleo is a good name, but David already has his dog is named Cleo. So,
okay.
See what I'm saying? So I couldn't do, talk about Cleo and he's like, well, you talk about my dog. I don't need that. You know what I mean? I don't need that. I don't need that. So, and I'm not trying to copy somebody's stilo. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got my own thing. Actually, we have a boy and a girl. All right, puppies. One is named Bianca, and the other one is named Tybalt. Real talk. So we got Tibby and BB, and then Romy and Juju, and and Juju is in heat right now, and it's amazing. So we got Romeo and Tybalt because remember, dogs don't realize where they came from. I'm sorry. Oh, this is so weird. But they don't know where they came from, y'all. They don't know. They don't know that's their mama that they're like hounding for. It's a very disturbing experience. He should be called. Actually, he should be called Oedipus, but that's another story, and that's not Shakespearean. That's a Greek play. Yeah, high school literature 101, everybody. But anyway, Tibby doesn't realize that's his mama. Okay, so he's howling at the moon, trying to get it in. You know what I'm saying? It's very disturbing. Okay, so, and they're trying to compete with each other, right? Romeo and Tybalt, they're competing with each other because she's in heat and they're trying to get it. You know what I mean? They're trying to get it in. But, I understand it's nature, taking its course. But right now they are pretty much every day, 24/7, because we ain't trying to get them. Like, we ain't trying to get Romeo and Juliet to be knocking the boots. Like, we ain't ready for that right now. Like, we are planning on doing the neutering here very soon. But we might do. We were thinking about having them breed one more time, maybe. But we're still on the fence about that. But after this experience that we're having right now, they're getting neutered very soon. Trust. They're getting spayed and neutered quickness. Okay. So yeah, but I have countless people that are constantly coming up to me over and over and over again, asking and begging and pleading for me to breed them again, because they want puppies of their own. And so we're kind of on the fence, but we'll see. You know what I mean? Yes, we are actually having this conversation right now. Before we go into AstroWorld, yes, Shay's like this company trying to warm us up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Hey, it's Freaky Friday, so I'm just letting it, I'm just letting the conversation flow and all that. But anyway, as you guys already know, down below, I don't know. There's people keep saying there's a echo going on. Let me. I'm gonna mute you. Okay, Bree. Okay. Okay. Hello. Echo. No echo now. Okay. So what's going on here right now is what we know. We're gonna get into the stories. Obviously, we're gonna get right into it. Okay. And one of the main things is that our top story of the day. It is breaking news as of late last night. This broke. This is getting very, very bad. Situations are not looking good for Travis Scott and any person that was involved with the AstroWorld tragedy. So let me show you guys this real quick. Travis Scott and others hit with a $2 billion lawsuit, y'all, in wake of AstroWorld disaster. Now, here it is. I want to say this really quick. This is a separate lawsuit. Now, I told y'all, I knew it. I knew this was coming. I said, hey, y'all, $750 million is just one. I said, I guarantee you this is going to be like a $1 billion lawsuit very, very soon. I just didn't know it was going to be $2 billion and it's separate from $750 million. So let me just say this one more time. You got $750 million on one lawsuit, and then you have a $2 billion lawsuit on the other side. Two separate lawsuits. So he and every other entity that's involved with this whole thing is looking at a lump sum of, we're going to round up because we're nice. You know what I mean? We're just kind. So they're looking at close to $3 billion in lawsuits, y'all. Not to mention the other people that are still starting to file lawsuits as well. So you can at least add another 100 mil because there's more people coming around the bend. So you're looking at a $3 billion lawsuit lumped all together going after Travis Scott. Let's take a look at this article really quick. A Texas attorney on Thursday filed a $2 billion lawsuit on behalf of 282 victims. 282 victims, and that's just the tip, y'all. That's just the tip, baby, of the deadly AstroWorld Festival, adding the legal woes faced by Travis Scott and other parties involved in the ill-fated concert in Houston. The defendants stood to make an extreme amount of money off of this event, and they still chose to cut corners, cut costs, and put attendees at risk. San Antonio-based attorney Thomas Henry in a news release. My clients want to ensure the defendants are held responsible for their actions, and they want to send the message to all performers, event organizers, and promoters that what happened at AstroWorld cannot happen again, he added. The lawsuit seeks up to $2 billion in damages from a long list of defendants, including Travis Scott, Drake, event organizers Live Nation, Apple Music, and NRG Stadium. In an interview with Hollywood Life last week, Henry said his clients range from the age from ages from teens to 40. They have injuries ranging from heart attacks, heart issues, brain injuries, spinal injuries, broken bones, broken legs, eye injuries, internal organ injuries, bruising and bleeding, the high-powered attorney told the outlet. In addition to the severe physical injuries, Henry said there's just a whole calamity, emotional injuries that were suffered as well. Those who are injured are still very traumatized because they had to step over dead bodies. They didn't have a choice because there was nowhere to move. These people were trapped. The crushing effect was so heavy and so hard, they couldn't breathe. They couldn't get out, he told Hollywood Life. Henry said his law firm was focusing on Travis and Drake in attempts to get a hold of their cell phones. Bruh. Let me say that again. He's focusing on getting Travis Scott's and Drake's cell phones. What? We already have started the process and are going in Drake's cell phones because there are communication systems in play that will be in those cell phones, he told the outlet. Every type of communication that he does, whether it's audio or his video or his text messages or cell phone calls, we are going to make sure that those are preserved, he added. Crazy, right? So he is looking to obtain their cell phones. Cell phones. Cell phones, y'all. Because they think that there's incriminating evidence on there, that there's solid evidence in there of negligence, right? Of cutting corners, right? The latest blockbuster lawsuit comes on the heels of Houston attorney Busby's $750 million lawsuit filed on behalf of 125 victims, also against Scott, Drake, Live Nation, Epic Records, Apple Music, and other entities. Among his clients is the family of 21-year-old Axel Acosta Avila, one of the 10 who died in the tragedy. At least 140 lawsuits have been filed in the wake of the disaster, CNN reported, citing Harris County District Court records. So, like I said, this is just a tidal wave. They are going, like I said, this is not The end. When I said that first lawsuit came out, I was like, we just begun. This is just the beginning. A spokesperson for Scott told Fox News Digital last week that he is still actively exploring routes of connection with families affected by the tragedy. Now, this is what we have right now. I do have a video clip that I'm going to pull up here in a little bit, but here it is, y'all. First off, hit that like button down below. We are breaking this news and giving you guys this information right now as we speak. So please hit that like button. That would be really appreciated, of course. But right now, Travis Scott is looking down. Travis Scott and other organizations, entities that were involved with this festival are looking at a $2 billion lawsuit separate from the $750 million lawsuit that is being filed, that was filed by 125, if I'm correct, individuals from another law firm. Okay. Now, one thing before I throw it over the Bree, because I love to hear, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this one. But what's his name? What is his name? Real quick, I forgot his name. I know his last name's Henry, but what is his name? What is it? Thomas Henry? Thank you. I knew it was Thomas or something. Thomas Henry. All right. His law firm is known for huge lawsuits and winning billions of dollars. So they brought in some heavy artillery to take Travis Scott, Drake, Live Nation, Apple Music, NRG Park, or Energy. Oh shoot, I hate when I forget the stadium. I'm sorry, Energy Stadium. All of them, Epic Records, all of them. They brought in the right type of artillery to take these mother lovers down. Breon, what are your thoughts on this?
They're screwed. Is my first thought.
Right.
But I mean, it seems like there's a lot of negligence. I mean, but naming all of those individuals, I'm more curious about how a lawsuit like that would be broken down. Like if they're going to assign a percentage of negligence to each party, and that determines the percentage that they would have to pay. But I also know a lot of this will probably be more insurance. I'm pretty sure Travis Scott and even Drake would have insurance. So I don't know how hard their pockets would be hit, but that's a lot of money.
It's a hell of a lot of money. And they're looking at, like I said, and this is when I wish I had Pocket watching with JT on, because he's, big into he's a financial advisor. He's an accountant. He knows all about the numbers, right? He knows all about these numbers and all that. And we're looking at this and we're seeing that this man, he's going to walk out broke. Now, David did say something along the lines of his net worth, right, is like $60 million. I mean, it's under $200 million, right? So if he was to take this money out of his own pocket, he'll be broke. He won't have one single dime left unless something big happens, unless he has some huge, I don't know, some huge hookup, right? Unless
But we know they stash money outside of the country. So, good luck to
how it goes down, right?
Yeah.
They have offshore accounts and all that to save a buck or two. You know what I mean? So, like I said, this is absolutely nutty. Absolutely nutty. And I don't blame any of these people right now. In fact, I'm wondering if the people that sued with the other law firm are looking at this lawsuit that just dropped and said, damn, we could have sued for more. Damn. Because real talk. But I mean, I understand that it's double the amount, right? They have 200 some odd people that are filing for a lawsuit against Travis Scott and all the other entities, right? And all the other organizations. But man, it almost seems like the other law firm could have gone for $1 billion, a cool billion. easily instead of $750 million.
Yeah.
No, it just sounds cooler to say $750 million than just 750 million. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds cooler, But at the same time, they could have gone for a full $1 billion
Yeah.
and called it a damn day. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. He says, hit them where it hurts. And I agree. Go after their wallets, period. Go after their bloody wallet. That's how you get them down. That's how he gets it done. I got a news clip here I want to pull up so we can take a look at this. Still unbelievable. $2 billion, y'all. $2 billion.
Now to the latest with legal action AstroWorld victims are taking following the deadly festival.
Hey, could you mute? Brian? There's a crazy echo going on. Okay.
Latest with legal action AstroWorld victims are taking following the deadly festival. A prominent San Antonio lawyer has filed a $2 billion AstroWorld lawsuit on behalf of nearly 300 people.
Yeah, and among the defendants, familiar names: Travis Scott, Drake, Apple Music, Live Nation, and NRG Stadium. And Adam Bennett, live outside the festival grounds. Adam, not likely to be the last lawsuit filed, is it?
Most likely not, Len. There have been nearly 170 lawsuits filed stemming from the AstroWorld Festival so far. And one Houston lawyer involved in those cases tells me that as more people realize the true extent of their physical and mental injuries, he thinks more will follow. Just a short time ago, earlier this afternoon, we saw people coming by the memorial outside Energy Park, laying new items here in honor of some of the victims. Earlier, we heard from a U of H student who survived that crowd surge during the Travis Scott set. Rainier Villaverde is a plaintiff in one of those lawsuits. He told me he is still recovering both physically and mentally nearly 2 weeks later. He is also urging other survivors to get help if they need it.
I did, see myself as and regard myself as a positive person, before this event. But ever since the event, it's kind of hard to, stay focused, not only on my, day-to-day responsibilities, but my happiness in general.
4 Houston lawyers representing more than 300 people in these AstroWorld lawsuits tell us they are sharing investigators and experts to try to streamline this investigative process and save clients money. The Harris Center for Mental Health, they are offering counseling to anyone that has been affected by the incident at AstroWorld. You can call 713-970-7000. Len?
Adam, thank you. We have more coverage of this story.
Okay. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people, right? We've already talked about this before, but there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be heavily traumatized by this experience. Not everybody sits here and expects to see dead bodies or experience something so traumatizing as what they experienced at the festival. I really do think that there are going to be, obviously there's going to be people suing because of emotional distress, because of the trauma that they went through. In fact, there's going to be other people that are going to say that they were there or say that they were affected by this experience. And clearly, some of those people are going to lie. I'm going to be honest. Some of these people are going to lie. I hate to say it like that, not trying to be heartless or anything of that sort, but some people had no clue what was going on. Some of them had no clue. They were just having a great time, and then as soon as the show was over, they left. But then there's other people that were heavily traumatized. So one thing that I'm seeing is that they're going to have to weed through a lot of the people that are going to be capping, because some people are going to be capping. Oh, I was there and it was this and that, and oh, I'm so traumatized. And I'm, like I said, not knocking the people, not knocking the victims. Never would I ever try to knock the victims, ever. But there are other people. Let me roll that back. Let me roll that piece right there. There are other people. Like, look at this this still from this news video. All right, from this news clip. There are people out here So I'm sure there's a group of people or a section of no clue what was going on, having the time of their lives, that weren't getting crushed, right? But they were there, and they're going to see this as low-hanging fruit, as a ground ball to scoop up $1 million or so, or two, or three, or 100. And how are Travis Scott's people going to be able to find out who's fibbing, who's trying to finesse, and who is not, right? Because every single person that was there, I mean, they were there. I mean, there's no real way of proving that they weren't traumatized at this particular event. There are thousands of people, hundreds and hundreds of people that were affected, absolutely. But like I said, there's some other people that are off on the side just having a great time. And then the tragedy happened and they're going, oh, snap. Well, I see this lawsuit happening and I see that lawsuit. They're doing lawsuits for millions of dollars, man. Shoot, let me scoop up this bag real quick, baby. I was there traumatized. That's a possibility. In fact, and this is going to, okay. This is going to be, I'm going to sound like a jerk, but I'm going to say it, okay? And I'm going to throw it over to Bree. But here it is. Benjamin Crump held a press briefing, right? And I'm sitting there, Mia 007, exactly. My neck, my back, my neck and my back, right? Now, there was a press briefing. I'm not saying that this woman was lying or not, but it seemed a little fishy. There was a video where an older woman walked over, and obviously she must have had like a bad knee or a bad back, which could obviously be something that really is a problem, right? That she has, like maybe it's just due to old age, an old high school wound. I don't know, maybe an old sport wound, right? But anyway, she's there. She walks up to the mic. And she doesn't say much about her experience. She just says, she just gets very quiet. And, and now here it is. Her being very quiet could very well be her just being traumatized and she doesn't want to relive it. That could be it too, right? But something seemed a little fishy. Something smelled a little fishy about that ish. Personally, in my mind, I go, maybe this woman's trying to scoop a bag. Just saying. I could be a jerk. Probably am. Okay. I probably am a jerk and I'm sorry. But a part of me just said, something doesn't feel right on that one. The other people were very detail oriented. They were talking about what they were doing. One fellow was sitting there going, man, I was standing bodies away from one of the last, that died from the squeeze. I can't believe that. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, my heart. He started getting choked up. Everybody else did their due diligence in telling their firsthand experience. Her firsthand experience was very vague, and I fell. Now, she could have very well been. She most definitely was at the concert because she has to prove that she had tickets and all that stuff, right? She's gonna have to prove that in court. But there's another part of me that feels like, could she have been capping? Could those injuries that she had already have existed? Could she have just fallen? Because for a fact, I don't see her, a woman of her age and her physical abilities. I don't see her being all the way up in here. Right up here where some of the madness was happening, right? I just don't see it. Personally. But like I said, there are going to be other people like herself, possibly, right? They're going to come in and say, I was traumatized too. When maybe the entire time they were just out here. They were out here where there was no squeeze. It's not like all of it was just one big squeeze. It was just the meat of it was out here, was down here, closer to the stage. So like I said, Dorian said, grandmas can't rage. Yeah, they can. Come on now. I've seen a plenty of older grandmas. Some grandmas have a grand old time. Some of the coolest grandmas in the world I've met. You know what I mean? That know how to just get down, you know, and have a great time. But sometimes I filing in and just trying to finesse. That's what I think. Brianna, what do you think? Brianna?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. One thing I'm thinking about, if people are scamming, they have to realize that a lot of the stuff they're going to have to prove, you know. So um, I just think about like when I had a suit for something. Um, my attorney went over everything, wanted to know if I went to therapy and all of that. And so I think that people who just say, okay, I was injured, but then don't have proof of the injury, or if they say they're injured, you know, those attorneys are going to ask for medical records. They're going to comb everything to make sure that this just didn't happen. You know, if you say I was diagnosed with PTSD from this, they're going to want to look at any mental health records people ever had to make sure they hadn't been diagnosed before. So I mean, if people think they're going to be slick, I don't think they're going to necessarily be able to get away with a lot.
See, that's the thing. I don't think a lot of them are going to be able to, you know, as well. But it's almost going to be people's word, like their word against theirs, right? Their word against Energy Stadium or Apple Music or any of the other people, right? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to sit and say, oh, well, there's no way we can, you know, like there's no way we can prove that this person really was in the squeeze, or you see what I'm saying? I think that a lot of people are going to like, and of course, you know, these big companies are going to do their thing, right? They're going to bring in their investigators. They're going to bring in all the people that they can, all the powers that they can find, all those experts that they can find to try to make sure that every single person is telling the absolute 110% truth, right? Because obviously every single $1 million that they spend is $1 million that's not in their pockets, right? So they're going to do everything they can. So you ain't wrong with that. You are not wrong with that for sure. My thing is that the lawsuits themselves, the attempt of trying to sue these guys is going to exist solely because people can fib. People
Of course.
these things up, you know, and that's the sad part. That is really pretty much the sad part of it all, you know. And that's the thing. It's like money is a hell of a thing, right? It makes people do all kinds of crazy stuff, and it makes us all do really stupid things too, make very, very stupid choices to go, oh yeah, I was there, and that terrible thing happened because of this, that, and the third, and man, I'm traumatized because of this, and it's like, well, damn, is it true? And it's like you don't want to be a jerk, you know what I mean? But you kind of have to, you know. Then you're like, okay, is this really true? Like, I gotta ask. Sorry, even myself, I'm seeing some people and I'm like, how true is that, bro?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be rude, like, man, lo siento. But and what happened to you is terrible. But at the same time, how much of this is true? Damn. Just saying. How much of this is true?
Right. And this could be prolonged too, because sometimes the effects, even emotional distress, might not be right away. So that's what they were saying, as people come forward, as they start to realize the extent. So this could go on for a while.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is that this is not the end of it, right? This is thousands. This is just a couple hundred,
Mhm.
right? This is a couple hundred. This is a handful of 100, right? Lawsuits that are coming out right now. Maybe close to 400 lawsuits right now, right? There's more coming. Absolutely. And the thing is that you got 252 lawsuits on one hand suing for $2 billion. You got another one where it's, 125 people that have filed for a lawsuit for $750 million. More is coming. That's just 400 people. That's 400 people. And you also got to remember that there are still people who have lost their lives of the victims that have died. Real talk. Real talk, they're going to sit there and say, oh, wow, those lawsuits are going to be big.
Mhm.
One's already lumped in there. One's lumped into the $750 million lawsuit, but not everybody else is fully filed yet, right? Ezra Blunt, that just lost his life, the 9-year-old. I mean, they filed earlier, but he had not crossed over, right?
Mhm.
Now
Mhm.
that he is dead, shoot, let's get ready. Get ready, y'all. That lawsuit's going to be massive. You see what I'm saying? So Travis Scott is screwed. He is absolutely 110% screwed. And the thing is, man, I wish I had an accountant or a CPA, financial advisor, to come on to tell me otherwise. Because
Mhm.
I'd love to hear it. They're like, nah, man, he gonna be fine. He got his entities and his whatnots. They're gonna be fine. And here's the other thing too. Let's not forget the $2 billion, the 750, the $2.75 billion lawsuit, right? Collectively, I'm collecting those all together, right? Doesn't mean that they are going to outright $5 billion outright. They're going to talk it out. And a lot of it's going to be settled outside of court because some people are just going to want to take their bag. So instead of it being $1 million, it'll be 700,000. It might be 500,000, depending on whatever, right? Depending on the lawyers that are involved with those negotiations.
Mhm.
So not all of it's going to be just a straight mill every single time.
Right.
But still, that's a lot of money that they have to negotiate and talk down from.
Mhm.
Some of these people are not going to see the inside of a courtroom. Let's be real. Some of them are not. Some of them will. Some most definitely will. If they're sitting there going, no, I want every single dollar. F you. What's the cost of the life, you ass? You took my son or you took my daughter. I want every single penny.
Mhm.
Period. That could happen. That could most definitely happen. Travis has a lot of work to do, an excessive amount of work to do. Debbie, thank you so much. I think we figured it out. He has a lot of work. You know what I mean? He has a lot of work to do. And the funny thing is in that article it said that they are still trying to get in touch, right? They're still trying to get in touch with families and all that. Trying, bruh, you should be successful at this point. I was able to reach out to some of the victims' families. It's not that hard. You send out a message and they're reading them. Trust me. I've had people hit me back being like, hey, right now I'm still just dealing with all this stuff right now. I'm heavily traumatized, but when I'm ready, I will hit you up. We will be on and we will talk about it, so on and so forth. It doesn't take that much work to get in touch with family members of the victims. It's not that hard. So for them to sit there and go, we're trying to get into, no, you ain't. You in your house smoking hella amounts of blunts, probably drinking a whole lot and popping a lot of pills because you're nervous as hell and you're freaking the F out. Understandably. But I'm sure you're sitting there arguing with your pregnant baby mama, Kylie Jenner, because, she preggers. Okay? going, how am I supposed to do it? What am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do. Talking with your lawyers. You're not reaching out to anybody. If you really were, maybe these lawsuits wouldn't be so big right now. Just saying. Hey, we'll pay you this amount under the table. Cash. Just drop the lawsuit. They're not doing that. He's pacing back and forth, holed up in his house. Security the hell out. Actually, let me find that because there's some footage of him chilling in the cut. Hold up. Hold on one second. I mean, this is from days ago, but I'm just going to show you this feed real quick. But I mean, like, this is just, like I said, in bloody sane. Boom. Now, this is just outside his home, but he got like, and I think I've played this video before, but he's got people outside his crib and he's got security just out the wazoo. But what's funny is you have all this security. You have all the security, the best money that security can buy, or the best security that money can buy, right? And yet you didn't bother to do that for the people that buy your records, watch your music videos, buy your Happy Meals. You see what I'm saying? Buy your sneakers, your merch, that show up to your Fortnite things. You didn't even bother to do any of that ish for them. But you have the best security out here that money can buy to make sure your ass is safe. But what about everybody else that was there that died and that are dealing with trauma, physical and mental? Just mental. What about them? Now, this is just one person out here, but apparently there are more. To secure your home. Hire the same people that you hired for security for the concert to protect your home. And let's see how well that goes. Real talk. All those people were unqualified. None of them were qualified for the job. And then if you have to call them, if there's an emergency, instead of picking up a walkie, 9er, Foxtrot 19er, you got to pick up a phone and find their cell phone numbers and call them off a list when the protesters try to breach and break into your home. And then tell me how it feels. And then after going through that, then you bring in the best security that money can buy. That's what I think needs to be done. But there are people out here, like I said, sitting outside his crib, protesting and wanting justice, wanting the absolute thing that we're all waiting for, which is justice. And what's sad is that Griffin just said something. He wanted blood, Griffin Winter. He wanted blood, period. Yeah, the one thing that he wanted was the blood, as he said in an old interview. And he likes chaos. We've already shown all of that. He's a creature of chaos. And the funny thing is like, okay, so I've been talking with some people that do actually personally know him, because I got some friends in high places, right? And they've told me, and I can't really say their names, but they've told me that this guy is a very subdued, very reserved, quiet guy. But when he's on stage, he just goes nuts. That he's just he's like a nice, good, quiet, soft-spoken dude. Really nice, to himself, very reserved. But then when he goes on stage, like, in other words, when he's home, he's Jacques because that's his real legal name. That's his government name. But when he goes on the stage, he turns into Travis Scott, right? And it's a whole different persona. So he ain't even really like this when he's off the stage. He's a completely different person. So whatever it is, I don't know if he has a lot of pent-up rage, pent-up anger about some things. I don't know. Maybe somebody, when he was a kid, somebody took his teddy bear when he was a kid. I don't know. Maybe it's some deep-seated thing. So when he goes on stage, he just turns into Vwah! Like a Sasha Fierce. Exactly. Just say no. Yeah, just say no. Seriously. It's nuts, guys. It is absolutely nuts. Oh, wait. Okay. Hold on. Fly on the Wall TV just said, hey, the Pascal Show. Did you know that Ezra's dad has Travis's face tattooed on his hand and AstroWorld on his arm? Whoa, I didn't know that. He's been to every Travis Scott concert in Houston. He's a super fan. Who knew the dangers. Oh, son of a. That's not good either. If that's actually true, I would love to see some footage of that, right? But if that is true, that is not a good look for Travis, for Ezra's dad. Trenton is his name. That would be a very bad look for Trenton Blunt, because if he's going to sue, those lawyers could easily esquire their way out of this and say, well, he already knew what kind of chaos he was walking into. He brought in his 9-year-old son. He should have stepped out and had a good time further out away from the chaos, where you know that people are going to be mosh pitting and jumping and raging and all that. Treston, sorry, it's Treston. Thank you. So that lawsuit could fall apart solely because he's been to other AstroWorld festivals before. So that part would be on him, on Treston, a little bit. Still, no matter what, that child should still be here. And that squeeze should not have happened. And the rage should have been controlled, right? Controlled chaos, controlled freedom of expression, right? A physical expression, right? Treston didn't know he was going to walk into that and all of a sudden walk out without his son. But if you knew that it's dangerous, right? If you knew that that situation's dangerous as all get out, why would you bring your 9-year-old son and then put yourself in the fray when you know people are going to go crazy? Now that we hear that, if Fly on the Wall is absolutely true, it is absolutely correct. Oh, that's bad. That's very, very bad. And it's going to make it very, very difficult for Treston to have a successful lawsuit on his hands, because they're going to say, you knew what you were walking into. You knew. Maybe it doesn't go into court. Maybe it doesn't see the inside of a courtroom. Maybe they settle things outside of court. We'll see. But no matter what, without a shadow of a doubt, this is very, 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 very bad news for Travis Scott and his team. And even Kylie Jenner. I mean, she's even getting thrown on the chopping block as well. People are trying to destroy her too. So this is all bad on all levels, and on Drake too. Let's talk about Drake real quick. Drake was on the stage at the height of the chaos. He was on the stage when there was real chaos going on those in the crowd, right? He gets off the stage, he goes to a Dave & Buster's, kicks it with Travis Scott. Understandably, he probably didn't know anything, right? He's just a feature. He was just a surprise, right? He comes out, he does his songs with whatever songs he's featured on with Travis, and he leaves. He goes to Dave and Buster's. Now, I can see that him not getting any information about this until maybe the next day. Let's just say that. But then the very next day, while he's in Houston, he goes to a strip club and blasts $1 million. $1 million in cash on a whole bunch of scrippers. Now, I'm not mad about the girls getting their money. I mean, do your thing. What's upsetting to me is that he woke up the next day and this was all over Twitter. This was all over social media. Even if he raged, even if he had a night where he was like, after the performance, he went and got super crazy drunk, brought home a couple girls, did his thing, whoop-de-woo, whatever he did. Even if he woke up that evening, the very next day, Saturday evening, right? Because he kicked it so hard the night before with Travis and whoever else, right? He could still open up his phone and find out, oh, damn, I'm trending. My name is all over this thing. What? People died? So you're telling me from the time that he went to Dave & Buster's, probably kicked it with whatever, went home, passed the F out, woke up the next day, and went to the strip club where he spent $1 million. You're telling me he never picked up a phone? No one turned to him and said, hey, man, people died at that concert. No one said anything to him for what? A full 24 hours? If not more? It's all a bad look, y'all. All very much a bad look. So we'll see. $2 billion on one lawsuit, $750 million on another. I mean, the plot thickens, y'all. The plot thickens. More information is coming out. They want their cell phones now. They want Drake's and Travis Scott's cell phones because they think that there's proof of them trying to shave or cut corners, trying to show proof that there's negligence to this whole thing. Now, I think that if they have good lawyers, the lawyers will be able to finesse their way out of that. Personally, I think the lawyers will be able to no, that's their personal property. This has nothing to do with the actual situation. What are you going to find in there that's going to prove anything? I think a lot of it's going to have to do with the paperwork. A lot of it. And first-hand accounts from security guards that were hired that had no experience whatsoever, and from the victims, from the victims that did survive, right? And of course, from the medical staff that was there, right there, seeing it, boots on the ground, at ground zero. Oh, you might as well throw in the cops too, at least the ones that want to tell the truth, because some of them aren't going to tell the truth. So, sorry, I just saw this, Bree.
Yeah, I'm looking at his Instagram now. It's true. He does.
Okay, let's pull this up. Oh man. Oh, this is not good, bruh. Oh, okay. Yep, that really is AstroWorld right there. Let me show this to everybody. That's not good. That's not good. That's not going to help his lawsuit. It's not going to work. But look at that. AstroWorld. Right there. Tatted. I don't see the face on his hand, but that I don't see a face on anywhere. But he got AstroWorld on there. So he's a super fan. So he knew this. Oh, damn.
Yeah, there's an image. It's June 17th, 2020. It's down a little bit. It's on the inside of his arm. But it does look like it's Travis Scott.
Wait, what is?
Yeah, so keep going. You're gonna keep going.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be like a video. Okay, let me see. I think it's a center picture. So keep going.
It's amazing how many people do selfies.
I felt like it's past some food. Okay, it's past this. Where is it? No, he's kind of laying down on, and it's got like red, um, like leaf sheets.
Red leaf sheets. That's a new.
Yeah, looks like it's got leaves or something. Right there, right there. Go back up. Go back up. Right there.
Right here.
Yep.
Okay. So, hey, and real quick, everybody, hit that like button. Send those likes all the way up. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button. It'd be appreciated. I'm not going to play the sound on this, but let's see what's going on here.
So at the start, I think you can kind of see it.
He's wearing. It looks like he's wearing an AstroWorld skull cap too.
Yeah, see right there on his arm.
Wow. Oh, snap. So this guy's oh, wow. This guy's a fan. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Well, when it comes to this, oh, damn. That's not, no, that's not looking good for him. As far as a lawsuit goes, this is not looking good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. For him, no. Because that's the thing. That I guess that's the question that kind of remains, right? That just is there. How should he be held accountable for bringing in his 9-year-old son to an event that he knows, if he's been to multiple AstroWorld festivals before and he knows how volatile they are, how can he walk away with a win in his lawsuit if there's proof that he knows how wild it gets? Because they can easily go, hey, man, Treston, bruh, this is on you. You brought him in. Just saying. As far as a lawsuit goes, right? And for him to walk out with what I feel like he rightfully deserves, I think he does deserve justice, right? And if that even is on a fiduciary level, he deserves justice, right? So that question is like, if he knew if he knew what he was walking into, because he's been there before.
Yeah, it's reckless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here it is. Look, I got a infamous truth teller saying, what in all caps, no less. What do you mean that's not good for him just because he's a fan that he should be faulted for that? They advertise to young kids at McDonald's, Fortnite, etc. That's crazy to say that. Actually, it's not crazy to say that. What? Let me mute you really quick. It's not crazy to say that. What's crazy is that, because I'm not sitting here saying, I'm not trying to be on any side of lawyers or anything of that sort. I want every single victim's families to find justice with what happened. But we are talking about the situation here, which is a young man knows about the craziness that happens in that concert, right? He brings his young, small, 9-year-old son to the event. That is some serious ish. So if you're looking at it as far as a lawyer goes, they're going to try, if they're able to use that information, they're going to try to use that and say, you knew exactly what you were walking into, brother. Just saying. I'm just showing the other side of the fence. Period. This man deserves. Like, this man deserves, his family deserves justice. But I could see the lawyers going, we got something. You're a fan. You've been going to this thing. You knew about this ish. Why did you bring your 9-year-old son to this situation? That's it. That is it. So before I get thrown on the bus trying to find a justification for this, I'm just saying the father knew about the craziness. I know some other people that were like, that have gone to the festivals a couple times, and they're like, yo, I would never. No. Or if I did, we would be all the way up in the, like, I had a friend of mine that went to one of them that was one of his concerts, right? And they were like, man, if I went back, what I know now, I would, and this is, they were like, without this tragedy happening, if I knew what I knew, if I knew what I knew then, if I knew now what I knew then, I would have done something different. I would have been farther away from the crowd. I would have been somewhere else. Like, a friend of mine's telling me that they were at a Travis Scott concert. It was in a stadium, right? Or it was in like an arena, right? Everyone's getting lit. Everyone's raging. They were telling me that the crowd was nuts, and they're standing there, and they tell me that a fan was going in so hard that he straight up projectile vomited all over the girls that were right in front of him. And then after he threw up, he just laid out flat on the ground. Like he just passed out and went bonk on the ground, flat on the ground. Just straight up face first into the ground. Security came in, grabbed him, dragged him off. Of course, I'm sure the guy was fine. But they were telling me, man, if I knew that this kind of concert would be like this, I would have done things completely different, right? I would have approached this event completely different. So imagine somebody who's gone countless times to an event like this, right? And then bringing their young son or a young child with them. They already know the atmosphere. They know the vibe. That's a scary thought. That's all I'm saying. It could be very hard for him possibly to walk out with financial justice, let's just say. Just saying. It could be very tough for him. And that's what sucks. Now, he has been saying in interviews that he didn't know. He thought he would be safe. And that's one thing that he has leaning on everything, right? He can lean on that big time. Is a concert should not be a thing of like, oh, I got to stand over here because it's dangerous and I could die. Never. It should be like, hey, I'm going in and having a great time. I'm here having a wonderful experience, and I'm happy to be here, and we're going to walk out having, feeling so much better because we had an amazing musical experience. We got to express ourselves. We got to, see a great performance by someone that we look up to and admire. But the thing is they're still walking away alive. That's the thing. So anyway, $2 billion. And yes, Charlotte, Travis's kid was there in VIP, safe and sound. His pregnant baby mama was there too in VIP, safe and sound. They were two of the people that were left, literally. They were the group of people that were escorted out of the whole thing first before Ish hit the fan, or while Ish was hitting the fan. And they were seeing people passing out right in front of them. They saw all that. But Kylie and whatever her sister's name is, they're all lying. They're all based. We didn't know anything until afterwards. It's a lie. It's a full-on lie. So there is that. There is that. We got one last story for you guys. It's a little bit of a left turn, but it is something that really was really boiling my blood yesterday when I got a chance to read this article, and this is privilege like a mother lover, like I've never seen before. Well, actually, we've seen this before, but I thought this was kind of like a dead thing. Okay, and apparently, when it comes to SA, okay, on young women, and of course, we have to be very careful, Breon, just so you know. We got to kind of censor ourselves. Unfortunately, it sucks, but these are the breaks. But when it comes to SA on young women, apparently nothing's changed, especially if you are rich and white. We got to go into this story, y'all. And this is the last story of our day. Okay. And this is the wildest thing I've seen in a while. All right. I mean, like, I'm surprised, but then I'm like not surprised at the same damn time. You feel me? And so real quick, before we jump into it, we have 800 souls watching the show on all platforms. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below. And yes, I'll say it again. Please crush that subscribe button. We are almost at 50,000 subscribers. I'm trying to make that goal here very, very soon. So please crush that subscribe button. We're this close, y'all. This close. It's amazing. I can't believe it. Honestly, I cannot believe it. I'm very excited. But anyway, back to being upset. Here's this story. A young man is spared. A piece of trash, in my personal opinion, is spared prison after a guilty plea in attacks on 4 young women. So here it is. The judge who sentenced the man, Christopher Belter, said that he had agonized over the decision, but that incarceration wasn't appropriate. Here's this man's face, this piece of trash, in my personal opinion. His name is Christopher Belter. All right. This is when he was in court in 2019. So a quick little article. Well, it's a long article, but we're going to go through the bullets here. Okay. So the girl was 16 when Christopher Belter took advantage of her, according to court documents. He was a teenager, too, a student at an elite private boys' school whose family's Western New York home was known as a party house where teens gathered to consume alcohol, marijuana, and Adderall. It was August 2018, and the girl, identified in court filings as MM, was at Mr. Belter's house to spend the night with his sister before going to Chicago the next day. He asked her into her room. He then threw her onto the bed, pulled her clothes off, told her to stop being such a baby, according to court documents. At a hearing this summer, she described focusing her attention on the leaves of a plant in the room as the attack continued. This week, Mr. Belter, who now is 20 years old, was sentenced in the assault, all right, on MM and the other attacks on 3 other teenage girls, facing up to 8 years in prison on attacking 4 young women. Just saying that. 4 women, him attacking these women in the S way, you know what I'm saying? And he's only up to 8 years in prison. Okay. He was instead given 8 years, who said he had agonized over the decision. I'm not ashamed to say that I actually prayed over what is the appropriate sentence in this case because there was great pain. The judge, Judge Murphy III, Matthew J. Murphy III of Niagara, New York County Court, said at Mr. Belter's sentencing on Tuesday, there was great harm. There were multiple crimes committed in this case. Still, the judge continued, it seems to me that a sentence that involves incarceration or partial incarceration isn't appropriate. He told Mr. Belter, who must register as an offender, as an S offender, the probation would be like a sword hanging over his head for the next 8 years. I don't know how a probation is like a sword hanging over your head for the next 8 years. Actually being incarcerated for the heinous acts that you did to 4 young women is the sword hanging over your head. That is the ultimate price that he has to pay. But he gets probation. And this judge is literally saying that this is a sword hanging over his head. I'll continue. He offered no further explanation for why the sentence did not include prison time. So, Cohen, lawyer for MM, said Wednesday, MM was deeply disappointed by Judge Murphy's decision. My client threw up in the ladies' restroom following the sentencing. He also added that if Chris Belter was not a white defendant from a rich and influential family, he would surely have been sentenced to prison. Now, this is something that's very interesting too, because we say, when I say white privilege, or when I say privilege, I wasn't even throwing in white. I separated it, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to put it in there because it is white privilege. You got a kid who came from a rich family. He is white, and he's walking away with basically a slap on his wrist. For the crimes that he committed, he is literally getting a slap on the wrist. He should be somebody's B word in prison right now, because you know what they do to SOs in prison. So he should be somebody's bottom B right now. But because of his family and monies, he's just walking away. He's walking away. So Christopher's father, who's also named Christopher, is divorced from Belter's mother, but he is also a senior partner at Goldberg Sagala, a large law firm, where, according to the American Lawyer magazine, years. So this man got monies, baby, monies. All right. His stepdad owns like a huge company that makes parts for trucks. So he comes from a very well-to-do family, and the house that his family is in is a house that he has parties in there all the time. Parties in there all the time. All right. Let me just say this. They say this was a house of SA, the scene of horrible acts committed by Christopher Belter against the victims, and as such, the consequences for his actions should have been state prison. The attacks on MM and 3 other girls, 2 16-year-olds and a 15-year-old, occurred at the house over an 18-month period starting in February 2017, according to court documents. At the time, Mr. Belter was a student at Canisius High School in Buffalo, where he played rugby. The house, which news reports describes being in a wealthy section of Lewiston, New York, a small town about 15 minutes from Niagara Falls, was popular among those in Mr. Belter's circle because of those loose rules governing what they could do there. When Mr. Belter was arrested, the authorities also charged his mother with supplying alcohol and marijuana to teenagers at parties at the house on various occasions. Mr. Sallow and a friend, Jessica Long, were also charged with serving minors alcohol. All 3 had pleaded not guilty and are awaiting trial, court officials said. Now, here's the thing. What's very interesting is you got mama, a couple of her friends over while the kids are partying, probably, outside or in the basement, whatever. They might have some huge basement, right? Some huge finished basement, right? And they're going, oh, no big deal. They're doing it right in front of us. So as long as they're doing it right in front of us, it's good. But unbeknownst to them, maybe their son, Mrs. Belter, or sorry, Mrs. Belter or Mrs. Vicanti, because she's remarried, didn't know that her son was going off and taking on separate occasions, taking 4 different girls into a room and taking advantage of them. But they're the ones, the parents and her friends, the mom and her friends, were supplying these kids with alcohol, weed, and Adderall. They're still waiting trial, though. Now, this is the thing I wanted to show you guys at the very, very end of this, which is there's a lot that's going on in this thing. The family has a lot of money. Not only does the father, who's not married, who is divorced from the mother, but also Belter's stepdad got monies. So they got deep pockets on top of deep pockets, right? And of course, they're going to do everything they can to protect their son, right? Maybe the judge got, thrown a couple shekels. Just saying. But this part is what I found very, very disturbing. All right. So Judge Murphy cited that the victim, MM, made a very moving and eloquent statement in court in August. In discussing MM's statement, Judge Murphy noted how she had compared the damage done by Mr. Belter to that caused by the forest fires she had seen raging as she traveled across the country this past summer. The judge's ruling included a verbatim portion of the statement, and she said this: "So I stand before you now, asking you to not let this be the end, to not let this R word walk away from 2 years probation with a clean slate." He also quoted her as saying, "I'm asking you because you have the ability to save future girls. You have the ability to put this fire out or to let it continue burning. And you tell me, did he put that fire out, or is he letting it continue to burn?" Brianne, what are your thoughts on this story?
I am disgusted by this story. It's like another Brock Turner.
Brock Turner, exactly.
And I just really feel for the victims. A person like this, I don't think that they change. I think their appetite to continue doing this just grows and grows. And it's just frustrating that people who legitimately commit these acts get off. But yet we've had innocent men out there who've been accused of doing these things that have been convicted, and then their convictions overturned when they found out it was a lie. And I think that there's no justice when you put someone's social class above anything. The fact that this is wealth privilege. I don't think this is just white privilege. This is wealth privilege. This is probably a family who's donated to certain campaigns or donated to judge campaigns and all those things. And this is a person who's well connected. That's the only way I can think of this person getting off. And I think that judges like that should be removed from the bench.
I agree. I think it's very frustrating that you have someone with deep pockets, and just because they have deep, they find their own way of being vindicated, their own way of emancipating themselves. instead of actually being like, no, these guys that have the money should be looked at even harder, right? They should be. I hate to make it seem like it be opposite day, but like instead of this guy being like, oh, he's black, or he is not white, he is a person of color. Therefore, we got to ride him through the we got to drag him through the dirt because he's innately a criminal. Clearly, this guy's a criminal because he's not white, right? But as soon as it's a white guy with a lot of money, and he's got some good lawyers, suddenly everything's okay. No, you should be trying that guy even harder, especially when the guy pleads guilty. Let's not forget, if I'm correct, Brock Turner did he confess? If I'm correct with that story, he didn't confess. Right?
I don't think he owned up to committing the R word but I think he did talk about what they did, but I don't
But
but I don't think he owned that he committed a criminal act.
Right, because he didn't confess to the actual act.
Mm-hmm.
But he was still found guilty of said acts.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't plead guilty. Now this guy, Christopher Belter, came out and said, I did it. I'm sorry. I apologize. Like he literally was like, my bad type
Mm-hmm.
thing. But here's the thing. He'd done it 4 times. I'm sorry. He'd done it 3 other times, including the one that he was with MM. So MM and 3 other women, 3 other young girls were taken advantage of by him. And he confessed. He pleaded guilty. And just because he stepped in front of it and said, oh, my bad, lo siento, he gets basically the equivalent of what somebody that has done that kind of crime 4 times, the equivalent of a slap on the wrist. Have money. So you're telling me that somebody didn't come up to the judge when he was walking into his home and just said, hey, I'm going to put this envelope full of cash right here on this doorstep, and I'm going to walk away. And if I come around and it's not here, I can't say that you took it. I can't say that I gave it to you. So why don't you just go ahead and take that large sum of money, cold hard cash, and then he still needs to be punished. But I just don't want him to see prison. Cool? See you later. You don't think that happened? To me, I feel like that happened. You got all that kind of money. The judge is sitting there with your son's future in his hands. His life is in his hands. I guarantee you that's what happened. But this is what's so frustrating about these young men that are out here that have privilege. There's full-on opportunity for them to take full advantage of the law, to take it for granted, instead of, like, a part of me almost feels like he should have, maybe they worked out a deal, right? Just plead guilty and he will give you a reduced sentence because, you're young and you're upstanding and you come from, you're cut from from a specific cloth and your parents are, highly revered and all that stuff. So you'll get a slap on the wrist. You'll be, you'll have to register, right? And you'll have 8 years probation. Just plead guilty for the things that you did, because you did it. But the other thing is that, and that part is just very frustrating to me, and it pisses me off more than anything. Because somebody like that who's pleaded guilty for doing said crimes should be seen the inside of a prison cell. Period. They should be. because of their privilege, because of their monies, they're able to get away with murder. The other thing that frustrates me even more about this as well is the parents. The parents are just as dirty as their son. They knew what's going on. They've been knowing what was going on. And they should have stopped it after the first time. I guarantee you the parents knew what was going on after the first time. You're telling me that they were throwing these parties and they were letting these kids, do Adderall and smoke weed and drink and all that stuff. And next thing you know, you don't know about this girl running out of his bedroom crying because he took advantage of her. Then the second time comes around, you're not seeing that. Some girl sitting there heavily traumatized, tears streaming down her face, running out of your house. Let me say, how about the third time? You're telling me after the third time you didn't see some ish going down? No parents were calling your house saying, "What did your son do to my daughter?" Come on, y'all. This has to do with the parents too. The parents need to be thrown under the prison too. Away and lock them up and throw away the damn key. But because of money, people believe that they can get away with anything. And that's what's so frustrating. And instead of this boy learning his lesson, he is learning another lesson. And the lesson is revolved around money and the amount of privilege he has and how money can sway a verdict, a decision that you don't really have to learn from your lessons. As long as you just throw a whole bunch of fun coupons at it, everything's fine.
This makes me think about a comment I had on another comment discussion I had on another YouTuber's page about the Ahmaud Arbery case, for example, where we know that attorney said we don't want any more Black pastors in. And so where I'm going at with this is I replied, I said, this is all Black folks have oftentimes is, the Al Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons, the Ben Crumps, to work with them. They only have prominent figureheads that can really help them. Most of those people don't have money to buy justice. And sadly, you have cases like this where you have money that often sways the justice system. But then you want people not to have Black folks to have support, for example, like Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson, but then on the other hand, but you're okay with money swaying justice. Like, that's the stuff I don't understand. It's like, do we call it all out or do we call none of it out? And I feel like we continue to let this affluenza go by, and no one's ever hardly punished.
And but that's the thing, it's the question of what can we do? What is it that we need to do so that people know? Like, I just wish that the judicial system was different and that instead the law really was colorblind. But I hate to say that. But the law is not colorblind. And I really wish it was, but it's not. And I also do feel like it's not colorblind because it also, if it's not the color of your skin, it's the color of money that they're looking at. And if you have some of the strongest, some of the best lawyers that money can buy, and you come from a good background and your parents are upstanding such and suches, or at least on paper, right? They come off as upstanding people with, multi-million dollar companies or law firms that they're involved in and all that. I wish it didn't exist this way. But this is just a really good example of how the law is not colorblind. And it will continue to be that way until they do a new approach to things. Or we actually have different judges that aren't corrupt. I'm being real. Like, that judge should be kicked off, should be removed from his duty, because that woman, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again because you know what? What she said, he could have prevented this. He could prevent this. And this guy is going to be out here. He going to be out here. And I'm going to say it one more time. One last time for the people in the nosebleed seats. She said, "So I stand before you, asking you not to let this be the end, not to let this R word walk away from 2 years probation on a clean slate. I'm asking you because you have the ability to save future girls. You have the ability to put this fire out or let it continue burning. Please let this man not ever judge ever again. Because here's the thing. This fire is going to be back out there. And yeah, it might be small and subdued for a little while, but it will be reignited again. Somebody's going to throw a log in that bad boy, and it's going to be reignited. And he's going to do this to more girls. And that's what's so frustrating to me about this. F the privilege, F the money. This is a person that is a full-on criminal, period. Hold up. Let me show this man's face one more time so that everybody knows not to F with this dude. Real talk. Now I'm getting heated because I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, man, what if this is your daughter? You know what I'm saying? That went to this party. This man's face right here. Boom. This man right here. This fire that has been small right now. Real talk. He gonna do it again. He will strike again. Because clearly it's an appetite.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly it's something that he likes. He enjoys that kind of stuff. Why would you do it 4 times to 4 separate girls if there wasn't some sort of kink going on here? If there was wasn't some sort of thing that's going wrong in this man's mind. Period. I'm telling you right now, that judge made the worst judgment ever. Sure, this kid might have a hard time finding a job, but is he really going to? He comes from privilege. He is cut from a very expensive cloth. You don't think he's going to be able to get a job through his family from their multi-million-dollar businesses? He gonna be all right. And watch him try to quench his thirst 10 years down the line with another victim or other victims.
I just feel like this is like a Harvey Weinstein or Jeffrey Epstein in the making.
God
like,
forbid.
It's just power and privilege. I mean, this is why society keeps having these problems, is that we don't deal with them. We let them out on the loose, and people that we probably should be giving second chances to, we don't.
Ain't that the damn truth? No, it's the damn truth. This is the world that we live in. People that deserve to have a second chance don't get the second chance, and the people that really do not need to have a second chance get it because they got monies. Because they got monies and privilege. This piece of work is out here. He's 20 years old, y'all. And what you just said there, Breon, that scares the F out of me. What if he does work his fingers to the bone? 10, 20 years later, he's 20 years old right now. Say he gets to his 40s. Say he actually gets to move past this, right? And then suddenly, he's got a wife and kids. So now his seed, his influence is now in his children. What if he uses his power and privilege and takes advantage of some other people, some other girls that are just trying to get a job or just trying to better their lives? And he's taking the Jeffrey Epstein, Weinstein approach, right? Of like, well, you got to take care of me so I can take care of you type ish. See, sometimes the worst criminals are the criminals with money and privilege and the ones that get drunk with power.
Right.
And if
Because they think they're above the law.
Yep. And if this kid does not learn from his lessons, or if the parents don't really make sure that he really learns from his lesson, this kid's going to be a recipe for disaster. I'm telling you right now. So that's why I'm putting his face up on the damn screen once again. I'm putting his face up on the screen for everybody to see. Because this is another Brock Turner, as Breon just beautifully said earlier. This man's getting away with murder. But the court of public opinion hopefully will hold this against him. And so that he never does this again. And I'm going to say this too. My thoughts and prayers go to those families, to the victims and their families, because I can only imagine what they're feeling right now. And there's a reason why I brought up this story, because I shared it on Twitter, but it was something that was popping off yesterday, and I was like, no, there's no way that we can ignore this conversation. Because once again, white privilege prevails again. That should not be existing. The law is supposed to be colorblind. Period. In this case, it's not, or it is colorblind, or it is not colorblind. Sorry. Frustrating.
To me, this should come with an automatic sentence. I don't think that probation should ever be an option for this.
I totally agree. Especially when the man comes out and says, I did it. I did it. Look at what I did. So sorry, but I did it. He traumatized 4 women, 4 girls. Sorry, there were 4 girls. 2 of them were 16. Another one was 15. And I don't know how old MM was, but I'm assuming she was around that age range too. They were in high school, for crying out loud. Do you know what type of experience, what type of lasting impression that has on any person that has to deal with that kind of trauma at that age, or just in any age period? Now these girls have to go on and deal with this for forever. They have to deal with this trauma. I just hope that all those girls are finding the best counseling that they can find. Anyway. Okay. That's a really... it is what it is. Anyway, guys, we got to get going. That is the show for today. I want to say a big thank you to Breon for being on today. I really do appreciate it.
Always happy to be here.
Yes. It was a short one. I'm gonna mute you really quick. The echoes is getting crazy, but I want to say a big thank you to everybody who came on to chop it up, be on the show, and talk about all the things that are going on. Like I said, Travis Scott has a lot of work to do. You know what I mean? Shelby just said, Pascal, you got me heated and now you're leaving. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, here's the thing. I will be in exactly escape goat. Big, deep sigh. Okay. You know what? You know what? Okay. You know what? I'm cutting this. Hold on. I see a comment. We need to get up. Hopefully it's okay. Says okay, and hopefully this feed is nice to me. That's why I'm trying to jump off before this whole thing craps out. But channel name says, stop saying white privilege. A broke white man would have went to jail. That is true. A white male who was poor and had crappy representation. Yes, I do agree with that. That is very true. But I'm talking about white privilege with monies and all that. Okay. A wealthy black man would have got off too. Don't know if that's entirely true. In my personal opinion, yes, there are plenty of well-to-do black people out there that have lots of deep pockets. But when it comes to something like this, I just don't see black man getting away with this, right? I think we've only had one situation where it was a wealthy black man that got away with it, and his name was OJ. That's the only time I've ever seen someone with black privilege, right? Or actually financial privilege, okay, get away with it. Bill Cosby got off, but he still went to jail. He was still in jail for a good minute. He was still found guilty. Period. So, when it comes to all this, when I'm talking about white privilege, I'm talking about creme, like the creme de la creme, like upper crust type ish white privilege. Money, whiteness, privilege. That's what I'm talking about. Because when it comes to some guy that, let's just say, you know, is some white guy that, you know, lives in a trailer park and he's done this, that, and the third, no, he's going to be buried. He will be buried under the prison because he doesn't have the influence. He doesn't have the financials to be able to go to said person. Or it's all about who you know too, my brothers and sisters. So who's to say that Christopher Belter's father, because his father is with a very big law firm that some of their lawyers make $1 million a year. Who's to say that the lawyer ain't rubbing elbows with the judge? Who's to say his law firm ain't in cahoots and chummy with that lawyer? When it comes to the law, a lot of people think that these guys don't know each other, but a lot of them do. They all work together. They'll be like, "Oh, hey George, how you doing? You know, blah blah blah. You know, I was just, you know, just doing caught a bass this big, you know, the other day. Oh, wow. Court's now in session. Same dude that just said, hey, George is the freaking judge." A lot of these guys know each other. It is a small ass world, right? It's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, if you will, right? So who's to say that the pops, because he's in a very well-to-do, very prestigious, highly revered, and very successful law firm, who's to say he ain't knowing the judge? Had a random secret meeting and said, hey, man, here's this envelope filled with cash. I'm going to walk away. When I come back from the bathroom, if it's not here, then it ain't here. Who's to say? That all has to do with the privilege, with the wealth, with the success, and the connections. So when it comes to a regular white guy just doing this heinous act, nah, he'd be thrown under the bus. He'd be thrown under the prison, buried. He'd be somebody's bottom B right now. Real talk. Wearing Kool-Aid as lipstick and everything. Trust. Okay? But that's not the situation here. This is somebody who came from privilege, well-to-do, lots of money, and lots of connections. So thank you for that comment, though, because I appreciate that, because you know what? It's necessary to have those conversations and to clear some things up. Okay? Clear some of those things up. But there's a difference. All right? There's levels in this thing of privilege, in my personal opinion. There's levels. Okay? But anyway, hopefully you guys could hear me. I don't know. Did you hear me, Breon? With what I said? Okay. Because it's been sticky. It's been freezing up and all that stuff. So, like I said, I'll say it one more time. There are levels within privilege. All right? Not every person that has privilege gets the same treatment. Not all of them. Not everybody. Right? It's not a monolith. Okay? So anyway, again, Breon, thank you so much for being on. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. And for everybody who came on, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Karma Justice, thank you so much for the £2. Baby Daddy killing it. Thank you. I think that's for me. Or are you talking about Breon? I don't know who you're talking to. Who Baby Daddy? That's why I want to know who Baby Daddy. Who Baby Daddy at? Okay, but thank you so much for the £2 £2 super chat. Thank you so much. Okay, before you guys head off, please be sure to hit that like button down below. Please hit that subscribe button. Oh, and if there's any updates about Kyle Rittenhouse, if the jury comes out and makes their decision and all that, you know for a fact we will be on here live to talk about it. But I don't know if they're going to do it today. I really think they're going to wait until Monday to make their verdict, but I could be completely 110% wrong. But if they do happen, if it does happen today, we will be streaming and we will be live. Okay, so keep your eyes on your phone. If you see a notification from me, most likely it's from that or something else catastrophic happened. Hopefully nothing else catastrophic happens. All right, so hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know we go live. When I go live or when I drop a pop-up video, you can see it right there as soon as possible. Anyway, it is time to get going, guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And we'll see you guys very soon. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. I'll probably be on sometime this weekend, so be on the lookout for that. All right? This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
I'm sorry, I can't make this interview boring because this man is too exciting as a host. And I'm truly saying this, and if y'all can't do this, me and this man here is going to leave and go somewhere else where we can get some love. I want everyone in the building to say, I love Pascal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. For more information, call us now.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.